My name is Adi, and just like you, I am embodied on our beautiful Mother Earth at this moment with a very specific mission to support Mother Earth. I was also embodied on planet Earth when the world ended last, when we went through the Great Flood, the deluge. I was embodied in a society of watchers, beings who are not really yet fully accustomed to being physical. So in a way, it was quite new for us to have a physical human body. And when the world ended in the Great Flood, we just sat down peacefully. We closed our eyes and we were facing the Indian Ocean, just waiting for the deluge, for the flood to take us out of body. Nobody was screaming, nobody was panicking, nobody had fear. We all just felt a slight sense of nervousness because it was a transition. Before the deluge came, we knew what happened and why the deluge came. We were connected to what I would call Source, Spirit, Creator, and we understood that some of our people, let's say, the watchers, misuse what I would call life force or sexual energy. I was in a body of a woman. We were very tall beings, and I could see how some of, in my case, I would observe it from my point of view, it was some of our men were lusting after the physicality of women. Now, in that moment, this explanation came to us from Source that lust is, I don't want to really say incorrect, but that's the word that I would come up with right now, that lust is not an appropriate use of life force. Now, there is nothing inappropriate about sex, but the way that humans, the beings embodied in human bodies for millions of years, have been using life force, it is not constructive. And it is not exactly aligned with life force and the essence of this creative force. You would think, wow, the world got destroyed because the inappropriate use of life force, but that's exactly what is happening or has happened so many times when the world had to end in apocalyptic situations. Let's think about life force. Life force is truly source energy that creates life. I often speak about Divine Mother because Divine Mother is a being that communicates with me in many different of her forms. And she explains to me that she is not only the creator. In native stories, we have the spider grandmother, we have the spider woman. She weaves reality into being. So she is not only the creator, but also she is creation. And our bodies, our physical bodies, and how funny that is that we were always told that, the body is a sinner and who knows what. The thing is that our body is actually a creation of a Divine Mother. Divine Mother, in a way, splits herself into what I would call devas, so Devic beings. And that could be a deva that creates mountain, a deva that creates a river, a deva that creates a tree. But there's also a deva associated with the physical body, so you can call it the body deva. All these devas are divine feminine beings. Even if you are a man and you are in a masculine body, then your body is created through Divine Mother's deva, which is a divine feminine being. This life force was intended to be used as this incredibly blissful, ecstatic, playful, unbelievably expanding, unlimited energy. You could call it orgasmic energy. Now, Divine Mother's intention and the intention for creation is to always expand into more of that which is perfect, beautiful, to find new ways of creating perfection. We would associate perfection with peace, abundance, harmony, love, joy, beauty, basically everything that really opens the heart, because the creation is held by the energy of love. Divine Mother creates from the void of nothingness. She is the infinite void from which the entire cosmos arises, and she is the energy that holds everything in creation by the frequency of love. What happened on planet Earth a very, very long time ago is that, as I mentioned before, beings who came here to embody in physicality started to use this life force, let's say incorrectly, not constructively, not to expand creation in more perfection, but to actually create trapped life force through their own miscreations. As life force was coming through them, of course, it's very energizing, tantalizing, but all they could feel was how this life force in a way arouses them, which they would translate as sexuality and lust. And instead of using this arousal to be more playful, to bond with another human in absolute love and adoration and a deep heart connection, they started to use this energy to lust, and then to, in a way, give this life force the imprint of misuse of sexual energy, in terms of, grabbing, having sex without love, without deep connection, without playfulness, without really the true feelings that would need to go with it, without innocence. In essence, there is nothing wrong with sex, but humans, I think, really don't even remember what it's like to liberate this life force through sexuality. Often we hear about yogis that created ashrams where they would call it sexual liberation, where you just have group sex, but that is not actually sexual liberation. That is just trapping sexual energy once again when you attach it to form, and you use the energy as lust and as grabbing and fucking, instead of truly deeply connecting with your body and another human being, and realizing that this life force actually deep down has nothing to do with sex. It is true joy for life. And so as we are now moving towards December 2020, what I see that is happening is that we are given these activations of consciousness to realize that first we had to zero point these attachments we had, not only sexual, but any attachments we had to not only this lifetime, but past lifetimes too, and ancestral lines. But now, the last few weeks, we have been going through this activation that maybe some of you actually see what is happening when you get activated, is that we are asked by Divine Mother to liberate life force that we misused not only in this lifetime through words, actions, thoughts, behaviors, but of course through our sexuality. Our sexuality is a big one, right? Imagine there are people who suppress it, and so that's also misuse of life force. Life force needs to flow. We are like trees of life. The energy needs to go in, go through the heart and out, and it's all about creation, creation, creation. We are creators that are meant to be completely free. Freedom is what Divine Mother is doing right now on planet Earth. Planet Earth is going through the process of her liberation. And as we humans on her surface have trapped so much life force, we also trapped that life force in our DNA, we trapped it in our sexuality, we trapped it in our energy bodies, we also trapped it in the land. Right now, everything is being liberated. We need to be completely free. And I made a video about being empty, being nothingness. That is actually the greatest state, and it doesn't mean that you completely empty yourself and have no heart. Our heart is actually so full of love originally. Most of us don't even feel our hearts, and so we don't have to be afraid to become nothingness. What we are liberating is the stories, the histories, the memories. We don't need any of that. We don't even need knowledge when it comes to it, because we have access to universal mind. We don't need to memorize things, remember things, gain knowledge. If we have a question, we can actually access universal mind and bring answers when we need them. The sexual energy, think about it. So I said we have people who suppress their sexuality, which is again not the flow. And then we have so many people on this planet that use sexual energy without that deep connection, deep love, and instead they use it as lust. So we have this incredible industry of porn, but that's not just one of the big problems really when it comes to our sexual energy, is that it's very, I would say, demonic. Demons of course exist, angels of course exist, and humans create these with their own energy. Let's say porn is a whole industry where we trap human life force, right, and use it to feed something that is completely loveless. Well, imagine the energy it creates all around the world. We have probably billions of people who engage in misuse of their life force. And again, this is not to be Puritan. We actually do need to be sexual, or we need to be super creative. It doesn't even matter. It should be the same feeling, like when you're an artist and you're painting a painting, you should feel that amazing arousal of this life force. Life force, when it flows through you, truly does feel orgasmic. But it's not about stimulating some body parts, right? It's only our modern society society, or maybe thousands of years, that we suddenly attached meaning to certain body parts and now we have to be ashamed or we don't want to show them. The thing is, it's a body, like the whole body is a system that is supposed to just be innocent and at the same time expressive through creativity or bonding with another human that you deeply love in playful, innocent, and sexual and erotic interaction. That's something that we are now as humanity going to experience. Maybe we will feel immense arousal of our own kundalini and life force, but again, let's liberate. Liberate through actions, behaviors, thoughts, and feelings that truly set us free in deep love for all life.